Good evening and welcome to the Marshfield School Committee meeting on Tuesday, May 9th. Mrs. Pazerski is not here tonight, so I'll be taking roll call. Mrs. Garvin. Here. Ms. Stetson. Here. Mr. Greer. Here. Ms. Brady. Here. And Mr. Costello on me. Please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I see a lot of kids here, so this one will be a little louder than usual. Please join me for the Peace Builders Pledge. I am a peace builder. I pledge to praise people, to give up put-downs, to seek wise people, to notice and speak up about hurts I've caused, to right wrongs, to help others. I will build peace at home, at school, and in my community each day. Under the open meeting law, I'm informing the public that this meeting is being videotaped by Marshfield Community Media. If anybody else is taping this meeting, either audio or video, please notify us of such at this time. Seeing none, we're going to get right down to business. I'm going to just change some things around on the agenda and take our spotlight. Hello? Okay, better? All right, thank you. I'm going to change some things around. Okay, all right, there we go. Yeah, I can just project if I need to, but we're going to change some things around. We're going to take the spotlight on excellence first, then we're going to do our student representative report, and then we're going to take the agenda in order, which includes our reorganization for the year. But before we begin, I just want to say a congratulations and a welcome to our newest school committee member, Mrs. Lauren Dargan, who was just elected, and this is her first meeting. So a round of applause for Mrs. Dargan. Who I believe is a former Ames Martinson mom. So it's very fitting that your first meeting is here at Martinson Elementary School. Okay, we're going to turn it on over now to Principal Cotreau and our spotlight on excellence.
So you can see, okay, so they turn.
Let's do that. That's okay.
That's cool.
Good evening, school committee members and Martinson community members. Before we start with our presentation, we would like to introduce ourselves. My name is Nathan Carr and I am in 4th grade.
My name is Atticus Fleming and I am in 4th grade.
My name is Kate Lee and I am in 5th grade. My name is Claire Foley and I am in 5th grade. My name is Nora Martin and I am in 3rd grade. This year, Martinson started a new program called Around the World Lunch to help us learn more about the world around us. With the help of Mrs. Annie Roman, we reached out to the Martinson Committee to find parents, staff members who would be willing to do a short presentation about the culture and history and fun facts about their chosen international country. The presentations happened once a month at our lunch times, so we got to eat and learn at the same time. It really made our lunch time a lot more interesting. Each presentation lasted for about 15 minutes and consisted of a slideshow presentation and a table with artifacts representing the country we learned about. Presenters provided us with their international flag to hang around the halls in our building.
At the end of each presentation, we had a question and answer session, and we won cool prizes when we answered correctly. Many of us were very proud of the neat mini flags we won. The countries we learned about were
Inner Mongolia,
Greece,
Brazil, Vietnam,
Lebanon, and Pakistan. We would like to share some of what we learned about with all of you, so we put together this little Martinson News report for you. So So sit back and relax and enjoy.
Thank you for your attention. Does anyone have any questions for us?
All right, you guys can turn around and sit so you can see, okay?
I am Nathan Carr, reporting from Martinson Elementary School. In October, our Around the World lunch, we learned from Mrs. Roman about the country Inner Mongolia. A few things we learned about were animals, sports, jobs, and famous people. Did you know that it takes 13 hours to fly by plane from Boston? A few popular sports are archery, polo, soccer, and wrestling. The most interesting facts I learned about Inner Mongolia were in the winter. Inner Mongolia is on the continent of Asia, and it is part of China. It is called Land of the Blue Skies as it has 260 sunny days.
This is Nathan Clark reporting from Martinson Elementary School. In December, around the world lunch, we learned from Mrs. Corey about the country of Lebanon. The most interesting facts I learned about Lebanon were in Lebanon, they speak Arabic. In the summer, it is hot and dry and never rains. In the winter, it is cool and rainy and it only snows on the mountains. It takes about 14 hours. In Lebanon, their national food is kibbeh. In Lebanon, the beach is only 40 minutes away from the mountains. Lebanon is in the continent of Asia. Lebanon is a really cool country.
This is Atticus Fleming reporting from Martinson Elementary School. In January, our Around the World lunch, we learned from Miss T about the country Greece. The most interesting facts I learned about Greece: the blue symbolizes the sky and the sea. Another thing I learned is the real name is Hellas. Another thing I learned is it's located in Europe, which is pretty far away from us. Another thing I learned is there is all sea around it. Another fact I learned is the population is 10.5 million. And the final thing I learned is Greece has 6,000 islands. That's a ton of islands. Greece is an amazing and beautiful place. You should visit it sometime.
This is Claire Blanchard reporting from Martinson Elementary School. In March, our Around the World lunch, we learned from Kimberly Minsky about the country of Vietnam. The most interesting facts I learned about Vietnam were it takes 24 hours by plane to get to Vietnam. Vietnam has only 3 seasons: dry season, storm season, and rainy season. We have sweet grapes with Nutella and bananas, and they have salty grapes with vegetables. School in Vietnam is almost the same as here. 30 Vietnams can fit into the U.S. Gao is hello and goodbye in Vietnamese, and it was really cool to learn about Vietnam.
Hi, this is Kate Leahy, reporting from Martinson Elementary School. In April, at our Around the World lunch, we learned from Miss Talita and Mr. Calipis about the country Brazil. The capital of Brazil is Brasilia. The most interesting facts I learned about Brazil are some Brazilian holidays specific to Brazil are Carnival and Children's Day. The Brazilian flag meaning is green for nature, gold for minerals, and blue for the ocean. And the stars on the flag stand for the states. Brazil is home to the second longest river in the world, the Amazon. In Brazil, there's a big time zone difference from here, and it also has the opposite weather. For example, it's spring and summer here, and it's fall and winter there. In conclusion, Brazil is a country with beautiful cities, fun holidays, and
Martin reporting from Martinson Elementary School. In May, our Around the World lunch, we learned being Modeed of country Pakistan. There are many different languages spoken. The main language is Urdu. Urdu is very similar to Arabian. The most interesting facts I learned about Pakistan were Pakistan is on the outside of the world in Europe, in between India and Pakistan. It's very hot in Pakistan. Kids that go to school wear inchawarpis, their school uniforms, and they wear tunics. A lot of the houses in Pakistan in Pakistan do not have roofs. The bedrooms do, but the courtyard is all open. The food in Pakistan is spicy with lots of flavors. Pakistan is an awesome country.
Thank you for your attention. Does anyone have any questions for us?
I have a question.
Yes?
If you guys had to look back on this, right, and say what the coolest thing you learned is, just overall the coolest thing you learned, what would you say?
I would say the coolest thing I learned is how many islands Greece has.
That is very good. Anybody else? I want to hear from all of you.
The coolest thing I learned was that it takes 15 hours to get to Inner Mongolia from Boston. I was fascinated by Brazil's Children's Day. I thought it was really cool that it took like an entire day by plane to fly to Vietnam.
I thought that it was really cool that the houses in Pakistan didn't have any roofs.
That's awesome, guys. That's really interesting.
I have a question. Do any of you know anyone that was born in any of those countries?
Nikki Roman.
Cool. Is Mrs. Roman here? Tonight?
She was going to come if she could.
Oh,
She had one of her kids.
okay.
Mrs. T, one of the teachers at Martinson,
Cool. Where was she born?
Greece.
Very cool.
Two of my friends, Giovanna and Cece, were born in Brazil.
And I am Ordine, I think, was born in Pakistan.
That's amazing. Really cool. Thank you very much.
Any other committee members have questions before we resume the meeting? Could I ask for another round of applause for these awesome people? Nice job. And Nora's just going to take over for her mom.
Yeah, I would like to see more about that. Yes. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. That was a great presentation. We're going to move on next to our student representative report so we can get you guys on out of here. The floor is yours.
For Marshfield High School, they're doing their second round of Mamma Mia on Friday at 7 p.m., Saturday at 1 p.m., and Saturday at 7 p.m. And at FBMS, Math and Class will be held tomorrow and Thursday for 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. At Daniel Webster, for 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade are all taking their MCAS for the next 2 weeks, and then they're all done. And then on May 25th, the middle school is going to speak to DWS 5th grade at 9:30. At Ames Way, they are also all participating in the MCAS for the next 2 weeks in St. Cumberland as well. For South River, they have MCAS just like every other school here. They have a grade 5 field trip on the 17th. They have grade 1 author celebration, which is on the 18th. They have book fair on the 22nd to the 24th. The 25th. They also have a grade 1 field trip, which is on the 26th. Then for MES, they have grade 5 field trip, which goes to the Patriot Place that was today. It was also their last day of Project Reach. They have parent-teacher conferences, which is also the 10th. They have grade 2nd is going to Harvard Natural History Museum, which is on the 15th. Grade 1 field trip to Franklin Park Zoo on the 16th. They have grade 4 field trip on the 18th. School store on the 19th. And then they have a grade 3 field trip on the 23rd as well.
Awesome. A lot going on this time of year. Thank you.
We have one more meeting with you folks before. your
Yeah, I
day.
believe that we're gonna have the new people that are in for next year. So,
Oh, great.
yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Okay, we're going to get into our regularly scheduled agenda now. The first item before we move into the informational report would be the school committee reorganization. This is something we do once a year to vote a chair, vice chair, and secretary or clerk of the school committee. In order to do that, we would need a motion from a member of the committee to suspend Robert's Rules of Order to temporarily have Mr. Granatino as the superintendent chair the meeting while we select those. Is there such a motion on the floor? So moved from Mr. Greer. Is there a second? Second from Ms. Stetson. That's a roll call. Ms. Stargan? Yes. Ms. Stetson?
Yes.
Mr. Greer? Ms. Brate? And myself, Mr. Costello, is yes. Turn it over to you, Mr. Graves.
All right, I will be very brief, and I just ask of the members if anyone would like to nominate a chair. Mr. Greer has nominated Sean Costello. Do we have a second? Ms. Stetson. Okay. Any discussion? All right, this is a roll call vote, I believe. So, Ms. Dargan?
Yes.
Ms. Stetson?
Yes.
Mr. Greer?
Yes.
Ms. Brate?
Yes.
Mr. Costello?
Yes.
Okay, you are now the chair again.
Thank you. Okay, the chair will entertain a motion for a candidate for vice chair. Is there somebody on the floor? Ms. Stetson. Ms. Brate's been nominated. Is there a second? Second from Mrs. Dargan. Any other candidates? Seeing none, that's a roll call there. Ms. Dargan?
Yes.
Ms. Stetson?
Yes.
Mr. Greer?
Yes.
Ms. Brate?
Yes.
And a yes from me as well. It's 5-0. Now we'll take nominations for secretary. Is there a nominee for secretary on the floor? Ms. Stetson. Mr. Greer's been nominated by Ms. Stetson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Ms. Brate. Any other candidates? Seeing none, that's a roll call. Ms. Dargan?
Yes.
Ms. Stetson?
Yes.
Mr. Greer?
Yes.
Ms. Brate?
Yes.
And myself as a yes, that's 5-0-0. We will now resume with our regularly scheduled agenda. Thank you. Going to move on to the informational section. Mr. Granatino.
Real briefly, just a quick, this is our first whole meeting since our April 11th meeting, so a couple things have happened between then and now. Just wanted to congratulate the members of the high school that were here, talked about the Mamma Mia play. I was able to see it last weekend, it was fantastic. The MHS Theatrical Society is just phenomenal. And I know they have a few more shows this weekend with some more guest performers coming in, so they've been surprising people with that. It's been nice. Music awards are also coming up this week, tomorrow night. It's a big night for them, and next Saturday, the 20th, we'll have the MHS Pops concert. If you love music, that's a great take. And everyone gets dressed up real nice, and the gym looks great, and the kids do a fantastic job. So that'll be Saturday the 20th. I want to congratulate our 23 MEF grant recipients. We had the ceremony last Tuesday for this year's grants at the MEF Marshfield Education Foundation. Most of you are very familiar with them. Gave a total of $149,500 towards 23 different grants for our teachers in all schools across the district. Many of them were multiple schools working together, or multiple programs working together, and it was just fantastic. The largest number of grants, the largest dollar amount, and we also had a chance to say goodbye and thank Mr. John Gibberti, who's been the chair of the MEF for, I think, 6 years now. And Mr. Dion's going to be taking over, so a lot of exciting things going on with them, and just a fantastic organization. Also, between the last meeting now, we had our We Are Marshfield project, and Ms. Bezerski's in here to hear the accolades, but it was phenomenal. Again, I think the exact number of folks, but it was well in excess of 230 students, and I think another 80 volunteers that came together and did community projects all around the town of Marshfield. And it was just a wonderful day. The weather obliged us, so it was a fun day, and they got a lot done, and they helped a lot of people around town. Also, just want to update you briefly, we just finished our second session of our strategic planning process last night. As you know, we're doing our next 5-year plan, and we've had 2 sessions. Last night was based mainly on data from information that we received from forums, from surveys, from a number of different sources that we went through and trying to identify what they call the big rocks, the big ideas, the big goals that we are going to want to work on over the next 5 years. So we have a few more sessions, 4 more sessions after this week. And again, we're hoping for the second meeting in June to be able to present a new strategic plan to lead the district for the next couple of years. So we're excited about that. Also, since town meeting, we have received enough, and I put this in the newsletter last week, but we've received enough votes from our other communities that make up South Shore Regional Vocational Technical High School. And I don't know what happened last night. I think Norwell voted last night, or maybe tonight, but we have 7 of the communities voted in favor of Marshfield joining. So we were in position now to be able to become a member of South Shore Tech starting in the fall of '24. So a few more things that have to happen on the DESE side, but the votes are in, and we have the support not only from town meeting, which is overwhelming, but also 7 of the 8 communities. And depending on how Norwell goes, I think we should be fine there. And also just wanted to quickly update that we are still working with our friends at Northeastern as far as our partnership with them. They're working with the town, looking at, researching and doing some lab work down around Brant Rock, but also finding a way to bring students from the high school into that process. They've done this in a few communities, as I talked about at previous meetings. And we are going to be meeting with them next week to, as well, having a few of our high school folks there, some department heads, people from the main office, to talk about how we could look at a dual enrollment opportunity with Northeastern. So we're very excited about that, and thanks to Ms. Brake, who's been really spearheading this with Mr. Devaney and some other folks from the town, as well as partners that we've met now through the Northeastern and the police, and it's a great partnership, and we're really excited about it.
Great, thank you. Dr. Martin?
Just to ditto, I guess, what Mr. Granatino said about MEF. Cannot thank them enough for all they do for our classrooms and our kids. Also, just a quick update, we had a session with Katie Novak, who, if you don't know Katie Novak, she's like the queen of universal design for learning. So we had her working with our elementary principals last week, just talking about ways to remove barriers for some of our kids who might need different learning styles and ways of learning. So that was it. But, and then we also attended, Erica Barrett, Mr. Granatino and I attended the Bridgewater State University Career Fair. So we did get quite a few applications out of there, some interested candidates, and some of them applied already. So it was a productive night.
Mrs. Clark? Thank you, Dr.
Thank you. I just have a quick update. I just want to make sure that you're in the loop in the fact that Massachusetts, the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, released a new IEP form for special education earlier in the spring. So they've kind of redone the whole form to streamline the special education process and increase student voice in the process. It's been a gigantic process that they've been working on for a long time. We've been hearing about the new IEP for a long time, and it's finally here. The last update of that form was 20 years ago. So Marshfield will implement the new form in 24-25, so we will take next year to make sure that everyone is informed about the new process and the new form, that our Aspen technology will work with the new form. We'll be having professional development for staff throughout the year, trainings for parents throughout the year. But I did just want to make sure that you were aware that that was happening and that we are on it.
Thank you, Mrs. Clark. Mr. Miller?
Thank you. A couple quick updates. Kindergarten registration continues. We're at 248 registrations for kindergarten versus 260 that we have right now. Right now, we actually this morning we decided as a district that we're going to move forward with 3 classrooms at Daniel Webster. They currently have 42 students, and 4 classes at Martinson. They're currently at 61 students, so anticipating more registrations coming in. it's that tough level where, it's either a class of 15 or a class of 20, 21. So, but anticipating more registrations throughout the summer. That would leave Amesway at 3 classrooms, South River at 2, Governor Winslow at 3, Daniel Webster at 3, and Martinson at 4. So the process, the minor redistricting that we started last year between Martinson and Amesway has 5 students that would have attended Martinson that will be attending Amesway. So that 52 for Amesway represents 5 that would have been at Martinson previously, which would have been 47, which is higher than we've had at Amesway in many years. So just the roll of the dice. So that continues. We're hopeful that we continue to receive those registrations. Second item, as I know you are aware, we started the registration for busing for next school year. We started last Monday. Currently, we have approximately, let me pull my totals here. We have just under 1,000 registrations. So that's out of about 3,300 students because we're not including the current kindergarten. I don't have that data right now. Next year's kindergarten. Don't have that data right now. And then obviously this year's seniors will be leaving us. So that's approximately 30%. So thus far over the first week, that represents about 700 paid registrations. And then about 120 still in the no busing, formerly the walking zones, and then about 70 waivers and about 70 that chose no transportation. So as you can see, there's a pretty large turnout there, and we've broken it down by schools. We have all that data. We shared it with the principals, the elementary principals today. Over the next week, we will be sending out repeated emails and phone calls as we approach that June 13th deadline now. So we moved that deadline from May 31st to June 13th. So far, the process has been relatively smooth. A lot of questions, a lot of emails, and we're working through it. So we're moving along.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Any subcommittee reports at this time? Okay, seeing none, we're going to move on to public comment. Public participation, I would just like to remind the crowd of a few rules with public participation. First of all, state law allows us to limit it to 20 minutes in total public comment, and also allows the chair to set a limit per person to ensure that we fit inside that 20-minute time frame. Also want to let folks know that the committee is not allowed to respond to public comment. That's not something that we are, by law, allowed to do. I also want to say there's a couple issues that have been going on in the district that folks have been reaching out on. I've received some emails from Thursday to this past weekend. I just want to let folks know I apologize. I've been away. I got back yesterday, so if you happen to be one of those folks, if you're watching or if you're here that sent me an email, I will get back to you. I just haven't been able to because I haven't been in town. That being said, if anybody would like to speak on public comment, you're welcome to come forward and line up. Yes, and please, thank you, Mr. Brandantino, when you speak, please just state your name and the street that you live on.
My name is Sylvester Ziegler. I live on 458 South River Street. I didn't know you weren't supposed to comment on anything I have to say because I have questions.
Okay.
It was all about the bus.
And so you're more than welcome to state them here, and you're more than welcome to email any of us up here, and we can certainly get back to you.
Okay, thank you. South River doesn't have any sidewalks from Willow Street west to the coast. Now my son is currently taking the bus to school. Now we're forced into paying for the bus. If we can't drive him to school, which we may not be able to do, we would have to walk him to school. There are no sidewalks again. Unfortunately, people do not obey the speed limit on that street. Now, I could send my kid to walk to school on his own, but I have a feeling somebody's going to tell me I can't do that. When I was a child, I did walk to school back and forth. It wasn't here in Marshfield. There wasn't a problem back then. I can see the concern that people would have about having your child walk to school. But if I had sidewalks on the street, I wouldn't have a problem sending my kid to school, but without the sidewalks. Now, I'm either forced to pay for the ride, or I'm walking my child to school. It's not a short walk. I guess that's pretty much my concern. I know I haven't been involved. This is my first school committee meeting, so I didn't know you weren't going to be able to comment. There was concerns brought up by other people at the town meeting when this was announced at the last town meeting. I plan on trying to attend as many school committee meetings as I can now, because I know it's my responsibility to find out what's going on in my town. But I guess I'm going to have to, because my other questions, it doesn't matter to anybody what my other questions are. I'll have to address them to whoever I'm supposed to address them to. All right. That's my main concern. Now I have to walk my child to school, and there's no sidewalks on South River Street. And I don't see them planning on building any sidewalks on South River Street. So now the school, and I was told the school committee voted on this, so where was the concern for the people who are thrown into the situation that I'm thrown into? That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I will note too, just for a note, there's an email. Mr. Miller, what's the email address that they can email? Transportation@mpsd.org. That can answer questions, or you can find my email, Mr. Brandicino, anybody's email on the website, and we'd be happy to answer questions for you and have a further conversation. Go ahead.
Lauren Perry, Woodlawn Circle. Also here about buses. I have 2 kiddos in school. He'll be in 7th grade next year, and 3 miles is way too far for him to walk. So obviously he has to take the bus. He can be dropped off potentially by me and my husband, but he's got no way to get home in the afternoon, so that's the bus. Done. I paid for it. My concern really has to do with my daughter, who will be in 5th grade next year at Dan Webster School. I felt like I was forced to pay for the bus immediately with the original May 15th deadline. I look at an email, I read it, I have to take care of it immediately, otherwise I'll forget about it. The penalty at the time for forgetting about it was $100 per family, because I had to pay for 2 kids. So I paid for the bus for her because I felt like I had to. There wasn't enough information for me to really make a really good decision. Our neighborhood at one point was deemed too dangerous for walkers, and we had our crossing guard removed. We only live just over half a mile away from school. I would love for her to be able to walk home from school. Not an option without a crossing guard, period. I cross that street a couple times a week to go for a run. I go early in the morning when there's minimal traffic, nobody stops. I stand there and I just do my little frustrated thing and I give people dirty looks, nobody stops. Secondly, so if there were crossing guards, for sure, she could walk home, that's great. In inclement weather, hopefully my husband would be able to pick her up. My second comment about that was, this is done to have all the elementary schools start around the same time, which is awesome, great idea. However, if it wasn't starting at the same time, then I could pick her up from school and this would be no big deal. But again, I had to make that decision. I had to spend an extra $180, which is no small chunk of change. That's half a week of groceries for me. So, oh, and then the traffic on Ocean Street is horrific. She did the enrichment program this year, which was awesome. I take a right out of my neighborhood and I have to take a left into Daniel Webster Street. If I wasn't there waiting in Daniel Webster Street, Daniel Webster School parking lot 20 minutes before enrichment, I was hanging out on Ocean Street trying to make a left turn. Super dangerous. And then you also have the people who think that they're doing you a really big favor at intersections when they should be taking the right of way, and then they wave you on and someone else waves on. It's just going to cause a lot of traffic accidents. So that's all I have to say. A little frustrated and concerned about safety for EWS kids.
Thank you.
I'm Gemma, and I live on Spanish Road.
I'm sorry, Jenna, could we just have your last name?
Jenkins.
Jenkins, thank you.
I'm your neighbor. We live off Winslow. I'm your neighbor. So if you had children in the neighborhood with no sidewalks,
would you allow them to walk? I know you can't comment, rhetorical question. Last year, I did have my son walk to Daniel Webster, and I got in trouble because it's too dangerous. So what's changed? Because there's still no sidewalks. Mr. Miller, you've told me yourself that we can't find crossing guards. This was an issue last year, still an issue. And like Lauren Carey said, I've paid for the bus fee because you bullied everybody into it. With a 2-week deadline, that was not a lot of time. I hit send, and you pretty much then send out the email that we have extra time. But like Mrs. Carey, when something needs to get done, I have to do it. I'm forced to pay for the bus because my husband works early mornings, and if I'm driving the bus, I obviously cannot drive them to the middle school. So there's no other option. And that's really it. I just think it was, if there were sidewalks, if there were other safety, I don't know, just what's changed from last year to this year. There's still no sidewalks. It's still not safe. I highly doubt there's people banging down the doors to be crossing guards. So that's all.
Thank you.
My name is Jackie Mason. I live at 1415 Ocean Street. That is directly almost across from DWS. I have children in FDMS and DWS. I was hoping, and I should just state now that I have a lot of rhetorical questions because I thought the whole point of the town meeting was, or school committee meeting, whatever kind of meeting, was for the public to address their concerns. And you answer the questions, apparently. I don't know much about all this, so I could wait for an email from all of you because I have emails out to all of you, phone calls to all, and zero. I do have a response that will be answering all your questions. That's what I get. The responses I've gotten were vague and too different-sided from transportation and from other board members. So, and I'm sorry to call you out transportation, whoever answers that email. I'm not here to do that. I was hoping the board was willing and able to talk about the new bus fee. I know you have seen the concerns of so many parents and have emails and a petition with over 500 signatures, a Facebook group with over 100 members. I know I've received an overwhelming amount of messages thanking me for speaking up, as some said such strong statements, such as, I didn't know if it was buying groceries or paying a bus fee. Gross, right? Will there be someone at Ocean Street crossing our kids safely? Mind you, I lived in Marshfield for 3 months, and I lost my dog right on that road. I met all my neighbors in my pajamas, crying, lost my dog. I don't want that to be any of our children, and that is why I'm here. I know I have reached out to all and have not received a response. So it is absolutely mind-blowing why we are here with no questions answered and transportation fees still in place by the people who are here voted to represent us, when clearly this is not a reflection of Marshfield. You just heard 2 people that paid, that are upset about paying, that feel that they were bullied by illegally demanding money. So, I hope the board has come with the information we have been asking for, and that was undoubtedly needed to make these decisions. We asked for the safety changes that were made since you deemed walking hazardous, and have kept it that way since. If you cannot provide those, all walkers are deemed exempt until those safety changes are shown. You deemed it hazardous. The law says people are exempt if the road's unsafe. You deemed it safe. How have you changed that? Did you put that in the email? Did you cover that? No, but you put the law. You put the law making people feel like they had to pay, but you didn't tell them that we haven't made the road safe yet. You tied a lot of parents' hands, and that's unfair. What else? What is the safety plan put in place for all the changes being made? Crossing guards, is DPW staffed and prepared to have every sidewalk cleared for walkers? We have a lot of ice conditions. Will the sidewalks be treated? As for high school and middle school, will bus monitors be on the bus? Because I know my own 7th grader will not be riding a bus if she has to go with high school. She does not feel comfortable. My daughter should not be going to school and feeling uncomfortable on her way in. Will we have enough resource officers for every school drop-off? I think it has been comforting to all parents knowing we have the extra security measures for our children. Will that be taken away as the roads become flooded with traffic, as buses will be running throughout the entire town at the same time, and stopping longer to check bus passes? Also, will there be bus monitors checking them? Or are the drivers responsible for checking, and how much longer will that add to stops? And how much longer will those bus drivers' eyes be off the road? How much time will they have to be able to check their surroundings with angry people beeping at them? Because let me tell you, they go through the lights at least once a week on Ocean Street. And how will we address all these safety concerns? Also, if a child forgets their pass, will they be turned away? How much is the fee for a new one? How many are provided at no cost? I mean, we can't really expect children to never lose a pass when us adults lose debit cards like it's our job.
Just a heads up, less than a minute left.
Okay, I will speed it up. Who will be taking care of this? Are we adding it to someone else's plate, or are we hiring someone? All these safety issues will be costly. There is no denying that, hence why we need an outline of where this money is being used and necessary for every parent to make formative decisions. The information regarding this price, how it was come up with, and where it will be used has not been disclosed. A board member stated it was being used for contracts or a fund, and we still don't have the answers on which one. The town is already taxing every resident for school transportation. Will taxes be lowered, or will we have just be double dipping for transportation? It is our right to know where our tax money is being used. Lastly, all kids living in the United States have the right to a free and public education, and the Constitution requires that all kids be given equal education opportunities, no matter what their race, ethnic background, religion, or sex, or whether they are rich or poor, citizen or non-citizen. Your words exactly. Applications or payments received after the May 31st deadline will result in the students being placed on a waiting list for transportation. Bus routes and staffing will be planned based on applications and payments received on or before May 31st.
Ma'am, thank you. Your time is up. Sir, under the law of public comment, I can't allow multiple comments. I'm sorry. I'm bound by the law there. Okay, seeing no more public comment, we're going to move on to the MEA update. Mrs. Marcos.
Sarah Marcos, President of the Marshfield Education Association. Want to welcome our new school board member. Obviously, you're entering at a challenging time in education across the board, but welcome and thank you for being willing to serve. I want to express the thanks of all of our members for the support from our parents who have provided some wonderful treats for our staff, all of them, teachers, ESPs, secretaries, tutors. Hopefully some of our custodians are getting in on that during Education Appreciation Week. It is always nice to get a thank you from the people we're serving, even though just seeing our kids grow every day is thanks enough. It's still nice to have somebody say thank you. So I do want to make sure that the parents understand that we do appreciate the support we get every year during Education Appreciation Day. And I'm hoping that somebody says thank you to you as a school committee, because this is not an easy job that you do and it's very challenging. I know you can't comment on what people say, but I just want to remind parents, please, double check all your regulations. If it's a challenge to pay for busing, there's ways of getting relief from that in the sense of if it's really a financial challenge. So please make sure you look at the regulations, because nobody wants to put any child in danger or deprive any child of a free and brilliant education. And I know all of us feel real compassion for your concerns for your children and also for being able to provide for your families. So please make sure you investigate all the ways that you can make sure that you can get your kids to school and that it's not going to strap your family. So I just wanted to say that because nobody here wants to see any child deprived or hurt in any way. So again, thank you all for your consideration. I hope you have a lovely rest of the month and less than 30 days till the end of school. So MCAS is going on. Make sure your kids get enough sleep, and we'll be celebrating graduation soon. And it's a very, very, very quick month. So thank you all for your consideration and for your time, and also for your kindness. So have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the month. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Roberts. Yeah, I'll take that next. Okay, so our next order of business is we're going to get our world languages folks out of here. So we'll start with the world language trip to Spain.
Yeah, you can just kind of use a
Wherever you
table
like.
as your base
All right.
next to Ms. Calero.
Hi, I'm Patricia Salamone. Met you before.
Do you want the mic? You don't need it if you want it.
So we would like to start up our Spanish exchange next year with a school in northern Spain in Victoria, in the capital of País Vasco. And we have been in touch with their teacher there, and they have 20 students who would like to come and stay with us in October and then host us in April. Okay, we've done this kind of exchange many times over the years. You know, the last time was 2021, that all fell apart. So we would like to restart it this coming year. And they would be coming for about 8 days in October, and we would go there the week before April vacation and April vacation week as well. We would be staying with them for about 8 days, but we would stay in Madrid for like 4 days before that as well, and do some sightseeing there. So we have some approximate costs at the end, but we don't know exactly right now because we can't make any flight reservations until the end of this month because it's too far in advance. Okay, but by the end of the month we'll know exactly how much it is. We've met the kids, we have lots of interested students, and we assume it will be 20 by 2020. Okay, yeah, 20 students coming and 20 students going. Okay, and Maura and myself would be chaperoning along with another Spanish teacher as well. And let's see, I don't know, some of you know lots about this and some of you don't. But we go and we stay in Madrid for a few days, and we go on organized tours there, we stay in hotels there, and we eat there, and then we go by bus or train to the town that we will stay in. The families will meet us, and the kids will go to the host families, and they'll be staying with the students that they already hosted in October, and we'll be attending school there and visiting their area there as well. Come back.
And I think one of the things that we're really glad to get back to an exchange is we feel like this is, it involves our whole school community. When we bring the kids in the fall, like they attend all kinds of classes, kids meet them, they go to dances, go to sports, that sort of thing. So even if a student can't travel to Spain, or let's say tennis, whatever, they have that opportunity to meet these kids and go to class with them, and that's a really special part of it as well.
Any questions? Yeah, Mr. Greer.
Yeah, so, sure. I knew you were going to drop it when I'm done, too. As far as the affordability of the trip, right, I'm all in favor of this. I think it's a great program you run, and I've asked you this before, but it's been 3 years, right?
Yes.
Students on free and reduced lunch, are they able to attend this?
So what's funny, we spoke with kids today, so you see how we did the payment plan out and spread it out. And when I say to kids, if we don't fundraise, I think the kids going to Europe, that's a privilege that they can work for. And I actually encourage kids not to ask their parents for the money, but to get a job this summer and start to save up and go about it in that way. So
We don't have any scholarship programs or anything
Right.
like that. And fundraising wouldn't raise that kind of money.
Yeah.
You know, when you sell chocolates for things or sell them for other clubs,
Yeah.
you know, it will raise like $40 a kid. You know,
Yeah.
so it's not gonna really, it's not gonna make a big
I just didn't know if it was factored into the
Well, I'll tell you
price.
traditionally though, that we've had kids from all income levels go on this trip.
Okay.
So they manage it, and I think it's a great thing to teach them to save up to travel.
It's
money
we
well
did have
spent.
someone that really wanted to go and talk to us about it. We've done that. We have had big students in the past that.
Nice.
What are the hosting requirements for?
They have to have somewhere for them to stay.
Like a
They
have to have
don't need their own
bedroom.
bedroom. They
Yeah.
need to have their own sleeping place.
Okay.
Whether it's a mattress or a bed or pull-out couch or whatever. They
Okay.
have to have a place to stay.
Okay.
And.
Oh, I'm so excited.
So, yes, so definitely.
Another first for every family to share.
Any other questions or comments from the committee?
Just really excited that you guys get to do this again.
Yeah.
So I know this is marked as a first read, but I feel comfortable voting on it. If there's a motion on the floor to approve the World Language Spain Student Exchange Program for 2023-2024, such a motion on the floor? So moved from Ms. Stetson. Is there a second? Second from Ms. Brate. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand, saying aye. Aye. Opposed, abstaining, 500. Thank you.
very much.
Have fun. That's awesome.
All right, thanks, ladies.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to go next to, do we have our
We'll get her.
Okay. Great, we're going to take a very, very brief recess while we go get our new principal of Ames Way. Happy to welcome Caitlin Bishop, our new principal of Ames Way. Welcome, and we're all going to give you a little round of applause. And I'm going to turn it on over to Mr. Granatino to introduce our newest principal.
We are very, very excited to have Ms. Bishop join us. It was a wonderful process that we had at the Ames Way School. We had a few different folks involved. Just getting my notes here. Yes. Well, first of all, I'll just give you a little quick bio on Ms. Bishop. Ms. Bishop comes to us with a Bachelor of Arts degree from the University of Massachusetts, as well as a Master's of Education from BC. She has been an English teacher in France and a French teacher in Marblehead, a history and math teacher at a parochial school here in Holbrook, and she was also the vice principal at a charter school in Fall River for 3 years before she moved up to Kingston and served as their intermediate school vice principal for the past 4 years. When she was getting her master's at BC, she also worked in a couple different roles. She actually worked with student teachers and ran their practicum program as they were getting themselves certified. So she has been in and around education her whole life. Her family's in education their whole lives, and it was a great process. We have 2 fantastic finalists, but Ms. Bishop is going to be joining us. We made it official this past week. She's going to join us July 1st when she wraps things up there. And I just want to welcome her and have her have a chance to say hello to you folks, and if you want to say hi and ask some questions. I just want to let you know too, she's also taking some extended classes as we speak, and one of the classes is meeting right now. But so we set her up in the conference room. She's been zooming and stepped out, put her little stick figure face like Mr. Brady used to have in his Zoom thing. So she can come here and say a few words, and then she's going to go right back to her little cubby hole and finish her class.
You want the mic? Want to introduce yourself?
That's okay. Can everyone hear me all right?
Yeah, go right ahead. Principal voice, there you go.
The cameraman.
That's right. Am I on camera? Should I stand up?
No, you're fine.
Whatever you want.
But very nice to meet you all. I'm so excited and honored to undertake this role at Ames Way Elementary. And it's just been such a joy getting to know people, and even for the past week, since I left Jeff last week, just the outpour of support and messages I've received has been overwhelming and just very heartwarming. So looking forward to it, and again, just thank you very much for this opportunity, and look forward to meeting you all more.
Well, we're looking forward to having you as part of the team. Any questions or comments from members of the committee? Go ahead,
I
Ms.
just have
Stetson.
one comment, and I will only speak for myself, but I am so happy that you accepted the position. When you came in to interview, her answers, there was just an energy that I was like, yes, yes, this is what we're looking for. And clearly I was not the only one in that group that had that same feeling, so welcome. We are really, really happy to have you.
I feel that connection too. There's a lot to be said with that when you walk in a place and you just feel that authentic connection. So I definitely feel
I went there.
What school did you
Oh,
not go to?
don't let that.
My wife went there too.
Thank you.
Well done.
Yes, welcome. And I don't think anybody has any other questions, so enjoy the rest of your class. Thanks for taking the time. We appreciate the effort to be here.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
I mean, not to get locked out.
Okay, thank you.
Well, actually, you are gonna get locked out.
Take another very brief break while Mr. Grantino lets you back in.
Buzzer through.
Social media platform item.
And just a quick follow-up to that, I just want to thank the members publicly who were on that hiring committee. Ms. Stetson mentioned the fact that she was a part of it. Karen Hubbard, our principal at the Governor Winslow School, chaired the process. We had Lisa Zayek, Bill Flanagan, Michelle Simmons from the Amesways representing the staff. We had Mr. Madden from the middle school. We like to have representatives from the different levels because all of our leadership team, works together, so we want to have representation there. Ms. Murphy is a district-wide reading coach. We had Nicole Silva, who is a parent and a teacher. We had Ms. Catherine Ducey, who's the head of the PTO at the Amesway School, as well as Amy Scalaro, our special education director, who was there, obviously with a keen eye on all things special education and student services. So it was a great team. The parent forums were great. The staff forums were very well attended. And it was just, the feedback was fantastic on both candidates. We really were blessed to have two strong candidates, but this district really rose to the top, and we're really excited to have her on board. So I just wanted to just briefly, we talked about it a little bit at previous meetings, that the district has kind of partnered with an organization out of the Midwest, believe it or not. So Dr. Martin's excited because they're out of Wisconsin, but the organization working with us to kind of get our brand out there, our presence on social media, a little different than the way we had it before. We now have a concerted effort on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. We had schools and teachers all over Twitter, and we've been pushing that, but to kind of have one focal point for people to go to find out what's kind of going on. And it's more celebration. It's, I think, 90% celebration, 10% information was the theme when we started it. And May 1st was supposed to be the kickoff. I think we started posting things the week before that, though, and the responses from parents, from students, from neighbors of mine who never said word one about what's going on in Marshfield. I mean, my worlds at home and at work are like a huge valley between the two of them. And for the first time, I had friends who saw stuff on social media that they hadn't seen before about Marshfield. Oh, I wish we had that here in Situate. I wish we had this over here in Hingham. I saw that you did this and that. Even the Throwback Thursday said, show pictures of alumni from the old days, and people get a chance to make comments about who they might be, or do you remember this, or remember that. And I think just trying to draw in as many people onto the sites, and then what that will also lead to is then going to our websites to get more information, or to come to school councils, or to school committee, or to events that are going on in the school. And I think making that presence known and magnifying it, and ensuring that people see Marshfield, and the theme of We Are Marshfield is really important, because this entire school community of 3,700 people is We Are Marshfield, but we have the parents and we have the alumni, and we're starting to get, and we haven't gotten any reports yet from them, but they're going to give us kind of some data that shows how many more people are hitting it than what may have been hitting the Twitter sites before, and how far is it reaching. I mean, we're obviously crossing towns now, but soon we'll be crossing states and crossing countries, where people are going to be tracking what's happening there in Marshfield. And again, only 2 weeks into it really officially, and the influence, the impact has been huge. And even students, oh, is this going on the new Facebook? Is this, I take pictures of them. Some of our seniors, when we were going around doing WOMP pictures, is this going to be on the new website? Is this going to be on the new site? So for them to get excited about something, we know it's positive. And I want to thank many of the members here who've been talking about this for some time, as far as trying to expand our presence and kind of diversify it a little bit, and not just focus on Twitter, which for adults, who are kind of boring, probably Twitter is more exciting than Facebook or Instagram. So to have us out on those other venues has been helpful, and it was great feedback from the members that shared that, have been promoting it, and I'm glad we're doing it. So just wanted to give the team an update, and as we get more data that shows the impact that it's having, we'll share that with the committee as well.
Any questions or comments on social media? Great, thank you, Mr. Grantino. You can just keep the mic and go on to the MES platform.
Yes, so MES fifth graders, their students, the parents, the PTO have been working, and they wanted to have a gift for from the fifth graders back to the school. And they are donating some trees that are going to be going up along the fourth, fifth grade wing. I think that's where pretty much when parents are picking up. If you look to your right there, those windows, there's going to be some trees there that are not only going to be pretty, but they're going to help provide a little shade because it gets a little hot on those windows and those rooms. I know we have a few MES moms who had children go through those rooms, and more to come. So they're going to be doing that, but they wanted to have a plaque that just recognized that it was a gift from the fifth grade class. It's nothing fancy. There was a picture of it in the folder. Just simply say a gift from the Martinson class of 2023, and they just wanted to get permission to do that and your approval. But I think it's great that they thought about something that's not only beautifying the landscape around the school, but also serving a dual purpose.
Agreed. Where's the plaque going?
It's going to be, I'm not sure exactly where, somewhere within the trees, like underground.
It's going to be in the ground.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, well, there's, the chair would entertain a motion to accept the gift as presented. So moved from Ms. Stetson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Ms. Brait. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand, saying aye. Aye. Opposed, abstaining, 5-0-0. Thank you very much, folks. That is it for our agenda tonight.
Oh, wow.
Mrs. Przerski.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so.